Hey, I'm Cherry from the band Defenses, and you're listening to the Brutally Delicious podcast.
One, two, three, four. The Brutally Delicious Podcast. The Brutally Delicious Podcast. The Brutally Delicious Podcast. The Brutally Delicious Podcast.
70,000 tons of metal.
The original, the world's biggest heavy metal cruise. 60 bands, 4 days, one cruise ship, only 3,000 tickets.
From Miami, Florida to Ocho Rios, Jamaica.
January 30th to February 3rd, 2025. 5 days and 4 nights mingling side by side with your favorite artists in this incredible fan-friendly scenario that has no comparison.
Go to 70,000tons.com and book your ticket now.
So, by the accent and the bio, you're over in the UK somewhere, right?
I am, yes. I'm just outside of London. I'm obviously from the UK, but my mum and my sister live in Texas. Have done over 10 years, and I was out there with them about 10 years ago as well for a little bit.
Yeah, it's I stayed up so late last night. I was like, come on, this has got to get better, but I guess here we are.
Here we are.
So let's talk about Defenses then. Can you, for those not familiar, can you give us the 2-sentence elevator boardroom pitch?
Ooh. Defenses are an alternative metal band based here in the UK. We've been going for 10 years and we've released 2 studio albums, 2 EPs. Third studio album is on the way. We played some really cool festivals around the UK, including Download Festival, and toured with some really cool acts up and down the UK. Branched out into Germany for the first time earlier this year, which is really exciting, and we're going back at the end of this month. That was way more than 2 sentences, but there you go.
No, that's great. What was Germany like? Was crowd responsive?
Yeah, they were really, really into it. It was really cool. Germany's always been one of our top countries. It's always been UK, US, and Germany are the top 3. So it was really cool to finally get to go out there and kind of see that in person. And yeah, everyone's really, really lovely, and they seem to really, really enjoy it. So it was good.
Nice. So you're like 2 days away from Shadowlight, right?
Yeah,
3 days away. How excited are you?
I am so, so excited. We have been sitting on these songs for some time. We've been working on them for a good couple years. And yeah, we've been really excited for everyone to hear the songs and kind of see all the visual, aspects that we put with it, and then to, of course, actually have the physical album, and be able to listen to it from start to finish. I am particularly excited for that because yeah, I mean, the whole kind of theme and story of the album is about this journey, and I feel like the album does kind of take you on that journey. So yeah, very excited for everyone to go on that journey with us.
Excellent. So I want to get to the journey in a second, but you said something that I think is really important, especially to people in the metal community, right? Is the full album sort of thing. Telling a story, sequencing a record so it tells that story. That's like a forgotten art.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like it's something that artists today are starting to bring back more. At least it certainly feels like it. From like, some of the bigger artists out there, outside of kind of the rock and metal scenes, the first ones that come to mind that have really made a point about it, at least like online, like Adele and Billie Eilish, they have said with their latest albums, this is a body of work. It is supposed to be consumed as a body of work. And yeah, I feel very much the same about Shadowlight.
Yeah, because like the world has gone to this. Give me 3 minutes is the most, but give me 30 seconds of that 3 minutes, and then I'm moving on to something else.
Yeah.
So I'm old school. There was none of this, right? We bought the record and you listened to it the way the artist wanted you to feel. And you control everything, when you're in the studio putting it together. You control how the listener takes that journey.
Yeah. A lot of thought goes into all that.
What do you want your fans to take away from after and listening to this record, or what journey do you want to take them on?
So it is a journey all about self-acceptance and everything that kind of encompasses, with a real focus on understanding, learning more about, and eventually learning to accept your dark side or your shadow self. And that kind of darker side of yourself, which basically is kind of made up of all of the repressed emotions and traumas, negative thoughts, negative kind processes that we all as humans kind of go through. And it's very much the case that we try to focus on the positive and the light, which is good, but the other side shouldn't be ignored. So it's kind of a journey all about really discovering that, and discovering more about what it actually means to explore that side, and ultimately work your way towards a kind of greater acceptance of yourself and your place in the world, and who you are and everything that's kind of brought you to that point.
So obviously this is not a record then you approach without some sort of vulnerability, right? You're jumping in there and you're exposing all the raw nerves. You ever worried you put too much of yourself in there, or like, shit, I can't let somebody hear that, or do you just go for it?
Now I just go for it. I used to be way more nervous about that, way more scared about it. And I really started to explore it with our last album, In the Balance. It was the first time I kind of let those really raw emotions out on songs. And so I kind of continued that theme with this one. And I found it a lot easier to do because I was so invested in the whole topic at the time. The words kind of flowed quite easily. And yeah, I feel like in general vulnerability is kind of what people want now, especially from artists. And so I'm kind of forcing myself to be less afraid about being vulnerable, and not getting in my own way with it. Playing shows is one of the most cathartic things that I have ever been able to do. Especially, when you have the kind of subject matters that we're writing about in our songs, and you have the kind of energy that comes with them from the instrumental. It can't, there's no way for it not to be just an incredibly cathartic experience, to be kind of belting these songs out, and then having the crowd, give that energy back to you and belt the songs back to you. It really is an incredible experience.
So I imagine then cathartic and organic, whatever, it connects with people. So after shows, you must get a ton of people saying, hey, this song helped me through. Tell me some of that, and what's that like when you get those kind of, I don't know, testimonials or connections or whatever?
It is basically the whole reason that I wanted to be in a band and be a lyricist, was for exactly that kind of connection. And we got it before this album cycle. We got it for our previous releases, but I think I was still too in my own head about my own ability. And that kind of transcends any kind of compliments that we get about our music to pretty much everything. Where I would hear these things and I would say thank you, but I wouldn't really believe them. I wouldn't really believe that people were actually connecting and they meant what they were saying, basically. But yeah, again, with this last cycle, I don't know, there's an confidence that we have because we're so proud of the songs and the whole kind of story around the album. And we played our first UK shows with new songs in September, and at the very first show afterwards, someone came up to me and said that they really connected with all of the singles that we put out. They'd started to do some discovery work about shadow work themselves and kind of delve into that whole concept and apply it to their own life. And so we were talking a bunch about that. And yeah, it was amazing. It was really, really amazing to see that people actually connect with it.
Then going forward, or even with this record, did you feel a certain sense of responsibility with the lyrics and to your fans? Or did you just kind of exercise all of your demons and hope people connected?
It was a little bit of both, because obviously, we're writing songs for us, but we are also writing songs for our fans. We're writing songs that we think fans are going to enjoy listening to or connect with in some way and are going to want to hear live and sing back to us live. So there was definitely a lot of thought that kind of went into that. From a lyrical perspective, I definitely did just write what I felt needed to be written. The only thing I would say is I did do that thing, while keeping in mind what's going to be a catchy chorus, what's going to be fun, what's going to be a fun way to get this message across.
So you're writing the lyrics then, if I'm understanding right, you're writing lyrics with the stage in mind, like how this is going to come across in front of a crowd?
Yeah, absolutely. Not always, and sometimes I end up shooting myself in the foot with that, and I end up writing a really difficult vocal line that everyone
Right.
loves and that I have to do every time we play a show. But yeah, for the most part, yeah.
I know you said you're kind of writing, music and lyrics for the fans, but you ever try? Obviously, you don't want to write the same record from release to release,
Mhm.
but you still got to stay in Defense's wheelhouse, right? You don't want to alienate them. How do you straddle that line? Do you think about it much, or how does that work?
It hasn't actually been something that we've thought about previously, but it is something that we're thinking about now and having conversations about now for essentially what's going to come after Shadowlight, like the new songs that we're working on. And Shadowlight as a whole was a way more collaborative process than everything we'd released prior had been. And I think basically we're going to continue that. So the way that we plan on tackling that is having the rest of the guys be a little bit more involved and a little bit more collaborative when it comes to not necessarily the actual lyrics, but the themes or the ideas that we want to talk about with the lyrics. That's going to be a bit more collaborative between us. So I'm quite excited for that and how that's going to pan out into the music.
Record is out in a couple days, November 8th. What do you guys have planned? I saw there's some live shows going on, but do you have anything planned further than that?
Not yet, no. So yeah, we've got live shows. We've got the album release show on Saturday, the day after the album comes out, at Camden Assembly in London. And then at the end of November, we're heading out to Germany for a couple of dates to support Rising Insane. Um, then coming back and playing the Hammer Down Winter Militia in Brighton on the 7th of December. And then we've got a northern UK tour booked with Crushed by Waves for end of January, start of Feb next year. And we're essentially working to try and fill the year out as much as possible with shows and tours, maybe even some festival appearances if we can. And yeah, look to maybe pop out a single or two and keep the ball rolling.
That's wonderful. So I'm going to be honest with you. Today was a day that John set up for me, and I didn't know a lot of bands he set up. And I started prepping over the weekend, and I found some great music. This is another one of them. I had never heard of Defenses, but it's been, in my playlist for the last couple of days while I'm getting ready for Joe and doing stuff, and love it.
Thank you so much. Oh, that's so nice to hear. I'm so glad.
And this is like the third band today that I was just like, wow, I never heard of these guys. And you've been around 10 years. Of one of these bands, Transport League. They've said he's been around 25 years and they're still making music. And I found out a couple days ago they even existed, but it's beautiful. I love that there's all this great new music out there.
I love that. Yeah, me too.
Thank you so much for everything. I really do love the record. Thanks for playing along with my silliness.
No worries. Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed it.
Great day. Be well.
Cool.
Cheers.
Hey everyone, this is Bjorn from Soulwork, and this is Brutally Delicious.
The Brutally Delicious Podcast. The Brutally Delicious Podcast. The Brutally Delicious Podcast. The Brutally Delicious Podcast.
Hey there, heavy metal maniacs and kitchen crusaders. I'm Bruce Moore, the host of the Brutally Delicious Podcast, where we whisk up a blend of metal and food to quench even the most discriminate tastes. Have you ever wondered what your favorite metal musician chows down on before they hit the stage to melt your face off? Well, look no further. Here at the Brutally Delicious Podcast, we have cooking segments so brutal they'll make your oven want to headbang. From beefy, bodacious burgers to spicy, succulent salmon to kickin' caliente cauliflower and more. We mix metal and culinary creations, resulting in a feast for the senses.
But wait, there's more.
Hey, this is Michael Monroe. Brutally delicious. Isn't that beautiful? See you down the road.
Each week, I meet with the mammoths of metal for interviews that are spicier than a Carolina Reaper. Get the latest on their upcoming shows, behind-the-scenes stories, and if we're lucky enough, maybe they'll share a secret family recipe or two with us. You'll also want to check out our weekly album and show reviews, where we dice, slice, and serve up our unique takes on the latest metal releases. So grab your leather apron, crank the volume to 11, and subscribe to the Brutally Delicious Podcast on your favorite podcast platform. It's sure to be a hell of a time.
Oh, hey there.
It's Tim from Protest the Hero. Now that you've seen my junk, I'm going to show you how to make a pizza. And you're watching Brutally Delicious.
What's up, everybody? Max Cavalera, Soulfly, and you listen to Brutally Delicious podcast. Stay metal, motherfuckers.